I've never had a professional gun fit before, and it's never really been that important because I'm always lucky enough, head in the shop, pick up 5 or 6 different guns and go, yeah, I can work with that. And I've always made a gun work around me. But with the new Kemens arriving this week, I thought now was a perfect time to head out for a proper gun fit. So today we're going to go meet up with Matt from the gun fit company at Cocket Farm and see if it is really that important. Afternoon, mate.
Afternoon, Ed. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, good to have, thank you.
I've been excited about this one because I've never had professional gun fit before. I've always just picked a couple of guns up out the shop, swung them around a bit and been like, yeah, that'll do. And just worked around a gun rather than have a gun work to me.
Yeah, sure. Sort of forced yourself to get your head in the right position, push your head up and down the comb. Yeah.
And, you know, it'd be nice to see, you know, if what I look at down a gun when I pick it up is actually anywhere near to what you're going to set me up with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
What will be great to see is set the dimensions to a standard and play with the comb heights and see what's going to really suit you and what's not going to suit you.
So talk us through what you're going to do today regarding measurements, tri-gun, to get us to where we need to be.
So there's almost 2 kinds of gun fitting. You have looking at somebody's gun which they already have and trying to make it a little bit better by altering the stock, changing cast length drop, whatever it needs to be, and working towards those parameters of what it could be. Or we could go blank canvas, blank sheet, and start from scratch and see what could really work, get creative and look at the custom stock options for you potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously had my new Kemens arrive the other day and I already know there's a couple of things that need changing, like they're probably a bit too short for me, but it'll be really interesting to see what you come out with.
Sure.
On the first try with the gun, because like I said, I'm so used to shooting a side by side, I don't like to see a lot of rib. I'm not very sort of the way that the modern shooters shoot, like to see a lot of rib, shoot under stuff. It really
and you're not wrong.
Me.
Yeah, you're not wrong in what you're saying there either. It's what works for you. With what you're seeing between the gun and the target, it's really subjective. Everyone's right as long as it works for you. There's no right or wrong answers. It's a bit of a grey area. But what we can do is put your gun into the jig, measure it, see what it's coming out to, have a look at it in your shoulder, do a couple of mounts in here. We'll set the tri-gun up to what I think it should be. We'll go and test it, and then we'll keep changing it until I get it right.
Right, let's get started.
Perfect.
Let's go. That's where I'd like to be.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So just looking at your gun mount there, because of how much cast is in that gun, it's coming out onto your arm a little bit, possibly too far. Your eye is just over the top of it and slightly to the right of it as well. It looks like we're going to need to go a little bit longer, a little bit flatter, and reduce some of the cast in that as well. So what I'm going to do is set you up with the tri-gun now. We'll compare the measurements, go and test it, and you tell me if it's better or worse.
Okay.
Happy days. So just a little bit more drop in the back of the gun there. It's coming up nicely.
That looks loads better already.
Good. Go on, and again. And bring it down for me. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So the iris is just over the top of the rim.
Yeah.
Nice.
That looks loads better.
Good. Good. Elbows are at a nice angle. There is just a little bit of canting going on there. Ever so slightly. Let me just add a touch more cast into it.
So we've discovered that mine's probably a touch too short, which I already knew.
Yep.
Bit too much cast?
So when I put it in the jig and measured it, it's looking like it's got a lot of cast on the heel and the toe, quite parallel, almost 20 mil on the toe, which is a lot. Not out of parameters of being wrong, just it's a lot.
Yeah.
And where it's a little bit shorter and still quite high in the comb, your eye is coming way over the top of the rib, and it's a little bit on the right-hand side. It wouldn't be a problem being that high in the comb if it wasn't over the right-hand side of the gun.
Yeah.
Some people like setting a gun up that way. I have my eye position quite high on the gun, but if you're not used to it or if it's not what you want, then you're going to be fighting it all the time.
Yeah.
So what we've done with the tri-gun is extend the stock a little bit longer, about 385 at the moment. What we've done is brought it down at the face at the front of the gun to about 39 mil, and then try to level it out a little bit at the back to 55. And then that way it comes into the pocket nicely, because originally when we dropped the comb, it was coming into the shoulder really awkwardly and it didn't look nice.
Yeah, a bit too low and
yeah,
cramped.
a bit too low. And the trouble is when you start dropping it at the heel, all of a sudden your head rolls over the top of the gun and it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So hopefully the measurements we've got on there should work. We'll test them now.
Yep.
Taking a bit of the cast out so as your eye comes up more level as well, which is good. And yeah, we'll see if it works.
Okay, right. Let's shoot a few. Pull.
Okay, so your line looks fine.
Yeah.
I think you're just a fraction behind it.
Okay, so it wants more lead.
Just a little bit. Give it a go.
Okay.
See what happens.
Pull.
Start pre-mounted this time for me and just get your eyes away from the gun.
Pull. Pull.
And
yeah.
again, just two more. The tri-gun's interesting. It's not the be-all and end-all of answers, but it gives us a good idea. Okay. It is quite stock heavy, very barrel light.
Pull. I'm not getting in my shoulder properly. Pull.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. Bring my hand back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Brought your hand back to make it easier to mount?
Yeah. So I was up, as we talked about, there, and I was low.
Yeah.
So I could see the rib. I think that hand position.
So if there's something we can take away from today, it's hand position.
Hand position.
Yeah, definitely. Give it a try again then. It's a different gun, it's a different setup. It'll take some getting used to.
Pull.
And again.
Pull.
Right.
Very
Gun's empty.
Very strange.
Yeah. Not what we were looking for there, really, was it? No, not at all. Gun's empty. Let me have a look at your eye position. Go on. Okay.
What are we thinking?
So looking at your eye there, it still looks a little bit high.
Okay.
Going to drop it back down.
Pull. That's much better.
Nice.
Much smoother. I think being aware of the changes that have been made, I was probably overthinking. Whereas that, I've got more time to get the gun in shoulder.
Match your gun
that
speed.
Additional length of pull.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we've talked about, hand position, bringing the hand back.
Body mechanics.
Yeah.
It makes it easier. Just try a couple more there for me. Let me have a little look.
Pull.
What's interesting to see though in your shooting there, we've made that stock much longer than yours.
Yeah.
And you are stretching your head as far forward up the gun as you possibly can at the moment.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're going to a point where you want your head all the time.
Yeah.
So I might have overcooked the length for pull. So what I want to do is just shorten it a fraction or show you something. I want to lengthen it first.
Yeah.
To see if I can actually force your head into the right place on the gun.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back to where I think it needs to be.
Where it needs to be. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I've extended the gun incredibly long.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's too long for you.
Yeah.
But I just want to see you've got into a habit of trying to stretch your head and push your shoulder back.
Okay.
And I want to show you that you don't need to do that.
Right.
So just try the F target again for me. It's going to feel weird.
Gun down or gun up?
Whatever feels comfortable.
We'll go gun down. See how awkward it makes it.
Go on.
Pull.
Nice.
That felt better.
That looked good.
My head felt...
Locked in.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot nicer position.
Okay.
Pull.
Nice.
I feel like I can connect with the target a lot quicker.
Nice. It's looking better. It's still, I think it's too long,
Yeah,
but where your head is now, it's at that lower part of the comb where you can actually relate the barrel to the clay.
yeah.
Good. Just empty the gun for me. Let me have a look at your eye. I know it's empty. It's where it wants to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The sight picture's nice,
Yeah,
but just that. And how much have you lengthened that by?
great question.
Yeah.
We'll have to go
We'll
inside
have to
and
go
measure.
measure that and see
Yes.
what it is.
Yes.
So we initially started off at around 15-inch.
Yeah, about 383, I think. 15 and an eighth. So a little bit longer than what's off the shelf, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be more like 15 and a half at the moment, if not
Yeah.
longer than that. So you're not a tall chap, but with your habit or technique at the moment,
Yeah.
you drive your head up
Drive
the gun.
head up the gun.
Yeah.
You have to blame Mr. Bramley for that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What I want to do then, just 2 more shots. I want to take it back to what I'd call a slightly more normal length.
yep,
Just change your foot positioning slightly.
yep,
Okay. Try and get you not to roll your shoulder away from the stock and just bring your shoulder into it a little bit more so it's a bit more of a natural mount into the cheek
yep.
and just see how that looks.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right, I just want to see what happens,
See
just
what
to tick a
happens.
box.
Okay. So you've shortened it down again for me,
I have, yes.
but we're going to do something else, aren't we?
Correct. I felt like I was extending the gun for you to compensate for a habit you've got yourself into.
Yep.
It made a difference, it worked, but the length of pull for your build and stature was probably going to be a little bit too exaggerated.
Yep.
I'm not saying this is right, I just want to try it with you and tick a box, but essentially just by having your stance slightly more open and turned out, it's going to bring your shoulder round
Yep.
and it's going to stop you from bringing your head so far up the gun, and then the gun will be able to be a more standard measurement of, I don't know, 15 and an eighth or 385 mil.
Right, okay.
Just want to see if it works. If it doesn't, we can always put it back.
Yeah, yeah. So same target.
Yep, same
just to open
target.
the stance up a bit.
That's it. Just open the stance up, a little bit further apart with the feet. You could go a bit closer than that if you want to. Stand where you feel comfortable and maybe spin them a little bit more anti-clockwise. Does that feel uncomfortable?
Yep.
Good. Okay, when you're ready.
Pull,
And again.
pull.
Nice. Still managed to drag your head up the gun. Well done.
I'm determined, mate.
You are.
Consistency is key.
Definitely. How did that feel though?
I mean, those kills were,
Mighty.
yeah. I mean, that was centre pattern. I felt like I had a lot less gun movement.
Mm-hmm.
I could wait for the clay, and
You could match your speed better.
yeah,
Yeah, good.
it's just that.
It
Like
does-
we've said,
it's
it's gone from one extreme to the other with the gun,
yeah,
and then moving the footwork. It's always going to feel uncomfortable, whether it's
yeah.
right or it's not, because it's completely different to what
Yeah,
I'm used
definitely.
to, isn't it?
It's not what you're used to, and it might not be the right answer, but it's definitely made a difference. With your stance at the moment, it just looks like you have more control in the speed of the gun,
Yeah.
which is going to help with the tri-gun because it's so flighty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
Should we try it again?
Yeah, please do.
Pull. Pull.
Steadier, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just much more control. Even though it feels really awkward in the hips and the knees,
Yeah.
I just feel like I've got so much more control over that gun.
It doesn't feel like you're jerking the gun away from the target.
No,
Yeah.
and as we said earlier, I felt like I was having to give stuff more lead.
Mm,
That now feels
better.
more natural, as if I was shooting mine. I'm not having to
Yeah.
bang a load on. It just feels a lot more controlled.
Good. How does the sight picture feel? I know you're not looking at the gun, but
Yeah, that's where I'd have it.
nice.
You know, that the drop. I mean, we talked about this earlier, that for me in the shop, I always feel that like length of pull and cast is sort of my job to look at somebody and work it out, obviously, which you have. But the drop is something that's a bit more personal.
It is, yeah.
So I like something a bit more flat shooting, because that's what I'm
What you're used to,
Used
and that's
to.
what you've shot for, I don't know, 15, 25,
Yeah.
however many years.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to guess your age. So it's relative to the person. Like I said earlier, I like to have my eye quite high above the rib. It's how I find it easier to see targets that way,
Yeah.
and address the gun to the bird if I'm pulling away or swinging through. And all I say to people is, there's nothing wrong with having a flat gun. There's nothing wrong with having a high shooting gun as long as it works for you.
Yeah.
But I would always try and show people what it's like to have something that's a little bit higher in the rib, so you can actually see over the top and see what's actually going on.
I mean, I'm for that target, I'm sort of, you know, connecting with almost the base of the target.
Yeah, perfect.
And coming away, there is a slight gap between
the gun and the clay. Okay.
And that, for me, gives me the ability to, as I call it, like connect to that target.
Yeah, you can reference gun to target.
Yeah, if I have too much of a gap, I feel that I can lose my line quite easily.
Sure.
Because for me, there's no reference.
Yeah, correct. So it's interesting. So I would probably connect to that target in the same way. And if people looked at where my eye position was, they'd say, how do you shoot with the gun like that? Because it looks ridiculously high. But one man's high is another man's low.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's all about, you know, there's not one size fits all with this, is there?
Just here?
Yeah. Right, so we have moved round to shoot a bit more of a straighter one to see if it works. We know it works on the crosses.
Sure.
So whether it works on something a bit more
straight
up.
What I want to have a look at here is where you're referencing the gun to the target. I'll just ask you a couple of simple questions as we go.
Yep.
Better, worse, or about the same. Okay.
Right.
Give it a try.
Pull.
And again.
Pull.
So how much lower did you have to put the gun on the target there?
I had to come through it.
Yeah.
The first one, I
skied it
thinking
it was
dead
high.
flat and I'm going to have to get through this. And realistically, it wasn't
as dramatic as you thought.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay, try that again.
Pull. That was driver error, that.
Okay.
Pull.
Nice. And now this time, feet a little bit further apart. Just a little bit. Still pointing the hip to where you're shooting. If it's in a straight line with you, point the hip, but just a little bit further apart so you've got a bit more control from the body.
Pull. See, I drove through that.
You did, yeah.
That is just...
Does it feel like, though, does it feel like you want to drive through that target, though?
Yeah, I mean, anything going away is not my...
Forte.
It's not my forte. It's always been one of my struggles. But yeah, that was just...
Okay.
This over-exaggerated. I saw it and...
Threw the gun at it pretty quickly, yeah. I know it's a steep angle, that target, but it hasn't got a lot of speed behind it. So you can literally bring the gun up from underneath it, touch the bottom edge of it, and it should pull the trigger. Give it a try.
Pull.
And again.
Pull.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, this time, gun down, bayonet straight into the bottom edge of it.
Okay.
Punch into it.
Pull. Pull.
Oh. I love a chip.
Still a kill.
It's on paper. It's in paper.
That, yeah.
Okay, I want to try something. Let me take the gun. Thank you. So I'm just going to make it longer again.
Yep.
See if I can get your head further back down the gun, because I still think you're way too far up the front of it. It's a good problem to have. It's better to be too far forward than too far back.
Yep.
Because it helps with your balance, keeps your weight forward, and it's on the higher part of the gun, which is good. But if you're stretching to it, I think what will happen is you'll put a lot of pressure through your neck, you lift your head.
Looking for a target.
Looking for a target. I have been watching to see if you lift your head, you don't, which is great. You look pretty steady.
That's one good habit.
Hey, you haven't seen me shoot. Go on, try that again.
Okay.
Nice.
Pull. Pull.
How did that feel?
Loads better.
Yeah.
And again, just a much quicker connection to the target.
Felt like your head went in the right place straight
and
away.
to a space.
Yeah, nice.
And I was on it.
Yeah.
It looked much more natural.
It looked good. What's interesting, I want to measure that length of pull again and see where we're at. How's the trigger position feel?
Yeah, perfect.
Does it feel like it's on the tip?
Yeah.
Okay. Just mount him up for me, like you just did. Hold it there. I know it's empty. Bring your gun down. Yeah. I want to go a bit flatter again, but
Still flatter.
I don't want to drop the heel
No.
too much more. I think I just want to go a little bit longer and just get that face measurement right.
Okay.
So I think what we'll do is we'll build the height of the comb from the face and make it a nice gradual ramp from there, rather than letting the heel measurement
Drop.
I don't want to base the dimensions of the comb off the heel measurement, so you're
Yeah.
dropping with a massive amount into it to get your eye low enough on the gun.
So a bit more towards the parallel than...
Almost parallel, but with a little bit of drop.
Yeah.
So I want to see where your face needs to sit. Just mount that for me.
That feels long.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's surprising though, where your shoulder is, your shoulder just drops into it.
Yeah.
Go on, and again.
That's a little bit too long, that is.
Let's have a look at your eye position. I know it's empty. That is what I'm looking for with your eye position.
Yeah.
Definitely. So if we can get that with the right length,
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. That's it. Nice stance. Good. Pull straight in. Okay. Feels like it's too long to mount.
Yeah.
Good. Go pre-mounted for me. There you go.
Pull.
Touch it.
Just underneath.
You were underneath, but that's surprising. Actually.
I was waiting for that. That
Yeah.
wasn't... That was a terrible shot.
Okay. We
I
won't
think
hold
if
it against you.
If I come down, I'll bring my whole point down a bit.
Okay.
I was trying to bayonet it again.
Yeah, sure. But you can't bayonet it from gun up.
No.
It's a movement from gun down into it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pull. Pull.
Nice. Okay.
I was trying to make the same shot
Yep.
from a gun up position
Yeah,
that I was making from a gun down.
So you were trying to bayonet it with a dead gun.
Yeah. And I was just waited for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, see where your face measurement is on that at the moment,
Yep.
and then see if we can find a better way to get to that point with the tri-gun,
Okay.
and then we'll come back out and test it again.
Right. Okay. Let's
Cool.
go take some measurements.
Lovely.
So I've made some changes.
Yeah,
and we've measured it.
We've measured it again, gone back inside, had a look at what adjustments and measurements we were working to. I wasn't happy with how much drop we had in the gun, so we've made some alterations to the heel to try and bring it back up so it sits in the shoulder nicely again,
Yep.
while still keeping that face measurement at about 45mm, so we can get your eye down to the gun so you can actually relate the barrel to the clay.
So we've gone a bit more parallel with the
almost,
stock.
yeah, almost parallel. There's still a little bit of a 10mm drop there. I don't like to go full parallel, but let's see if it works.
Okay.
F target to start.
Pull. Pull. That was user error, that one.
I gotta be honest, the first shot was mega, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I looked into your shoulder there and saw the gun in the pocket. I was like, wow, that's mint, isn't
We're
it?
on.
We're on for it.
And then followed by a bit of driver error there.
Don't worry about it. If we hit them all, it'd be really boring.
It would, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know, mate.
I'd like to do it once.
Yeah.
Go on.
Pull. Pull.
Nice.
That feels just
Right.
effortless.
Good.
Just gun to face.
Into the
on-
shoulder.
and that, obviously, the change of the footwork as well
Yeah.
is slowing me down a bit.
Yeah, it's keeping the speed more consistent, matching speed to target a little bit better so you can get a better read on the method you're using, pull away.
Yep.
So that's brilliant. And it looks nicer in the shoulder, I'm happy. Earlier I wasn't happy. The eye position was right, but it didn't look right here.
Just too low in the shoulder.
Too low in the shoulder, and then you're going to get issues with pitching the gun up higher. So
Yeah.
we might need to make some changes to your gun, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Should we try something a bit more challenging? Should we try the Seabird off the tower?
Sounds good.
Pull. Not enough lead.
Go on.
Pull.
Oh, front edge.
Yeah.
Nice.
that is much nicer,
Good.
much more controlled.
Does it look nicer looking down as
It
well?
does, yeah. I feel like, as we said earlier, I like to connect to the base of the target.
Yeah.
and go away, and I don't feel like I'm having to have that gap between the target. I've got a nice connection to it.
Nice reference point.
And the other thing I've noticed is that those couple of targets I've missed then, straight away, I've known exactly what I've done wrong rather than guessing.
Yeah, sure.
Which is, when I shot the Kemen at the weekend, I went and put it on the pattern sheet because I couldn't figure out what it was doing. And obviously that was the height.
That's the height in the shot.
Yeah, in the stock. That just feels...
You look so much more comfortable with that straight away. So I'm happy. I want to see you break a couple more of those though.
Okay.
Go on.
Pull.
Nice, and again.
Pull. That was a proper break.
Mighty. That was great. Well done.
I think that proves the question. Is it really that important?
I think it is.
And I have been difficult today, haven't I?
We've come across some challenges, definitely. Because of your build and your structure. What would normally work out the box has not worked for you, so we've had to try and adapt the tri-gun a little bit and make it more suitable for you. And the measurements we're going for there aren't going to be factory.
Yeah.
You're going to have to either get something made or something modified to that.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference, the benefit to it.
Yeah.
And it might be a marginal gain, but it's going to be a benefit to confidence and point of impact and shootability. What's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, that it's just proved everything. Like I said at the start of the video, I've just been one of those I've picked some stuff up and been like, yeah, I can work with that. And we've had to work hard to get that to where it is.
It's taken some figuring out.
But that solidly proves how genuinely important having someone with expertise,
When he gets here, let me know.
to spend, we've spent a couple of hours at this, and we have set something up we thought that would work, and it didn't, and we've adjusted it, and we've adjusted it, and we've adjusted it,
and we've
adjusted it again, and it's worked.
Definitely. It takes some diagnostics, and sometimes you need to see what doesn't work before you can find out what does work. A couple of hours with myself with the tri-gun, it can be beneficial to your shooting. It really can.
Well, thank you, mate. It has been an absolute privilege.
You're really welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Ed.
Not only did Matt prove the importance of a good professional gun fit, but also how a few little changes with basics such as simple footwork could impact my shooting. After spending the afternoon with Matt, I cannot recommend him enough. Not only was he a good crack, but professional throughout. Please feel free to check him out on Instagram at The Gunfit Company and drop him a message. I promise your shooting will thank you. I'd like to say a huge thank you to you all for watching this week, and also to our amazing sponsors who help make our weekly videos possible. There's a link in the description below if you fancy checking them out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with our new videos released every Thursday.